This video, we would be understanding what is a server, the different types of servers that are existent, and why the internet would almost be non-existent without a server. We would understand the problems they solve and see what different types of servers exist and what they are being used for. So, what is a server? The politically correct definition of a server is a computer or a program that gives data, files, or services to other computers called clients over a network. When you open a website or check your email, your device asks a server for the info and the server sends it back. So, the client could be when you are trying to access any website using your phone, tablet, computer. Your computer is basically a client, right? So you don't know what information you are trying to access when you're trying to access the website. Or let's say you know what you are trying to get, but you don't have that information, right? So you are the client and the information has to sit on a server. So just like the definition of what a server is, in other words, a server has one main purpose. A server's purpose is to serve the client with information. That is what a server is being used for. For example, let's use in our last video where we talked about APIs and the restaurant analogy. Remember, um, your API could be the menu or it could be the waiter. Remember, this is just an analogy. You go to a restaurant, you are ordering food, the food is being prepped or cooked in the kitchen, right? So the kitchen in this scenario is the server. You are not the only one at the restaurant. You could have about 10, 15, 20, 30 patrons, how many people came to the restaurant at that given time. So all the orders are being served by the kitchen. You are sitting, you place your order. Same thing. You are a client, you who's trying to access a website, an application. It could be Uber, it could be Google, it could be any single website, even Excalibur, such as the website I'm accessing. So this website I'm accessing is a server. You will not be able to watch this YouTube video if this video is not hooked up on a YouTube server. So every single resource that you are accessing on the internet does live on a server when you are trying to access it. Same stuff. Now, what are the problems that, or let's first understand what a server looks like. So there's different types of servers. There's physical servers, there's virtual servers. So physical servers are basically the common type of servers that we know. Let's say you've ever been in a data center and you see like these huge structures. All of these are servers, but these are physical servers, right? And when we talk about virtual servers, an advanced concept, I would make an advanced video on it later on virtualization. So virtual servers are basically made out from physical servers. Just like you see these servers here, this could be a data center anywhere in the world. It could be in Australia, it could be in Brazil. Now with certain configurations and parameters, I could be able to log in as an engineer to these servers and configure and do whatever work I want to do on there without ever having to travel to these locations. Just like we talk about cloud servers, like they are just basically virtual servers, but there would be a complimentary video talking about this. So this I just wanted to show you what a server looks like, right? So you understand. Now, what are the problems that servers do solve? Servers, so before we talk about the problems, you see how strong a server is. They have a lot of like, that's why I was also trying to show you, like, for the most part, it's different from your average computer. It would have a lot of, it would have more processing power, the CPU, the RAM, and ventilating system and basically to maintain these servers, right? So and the reason why they are built to be this strong is because a server does solve the problem of centralization. Let's say you are building an application, right? And all of the application files or the user files, you can actually store all of those in one central location so that the information that your clients, when they want to access it, the information is not all over the place. Another critical problem in tech that servers do solve is the problem of scalability. So if there are multiple people trying to access your application or make requests to your application, and and your application is not sitting, remember your application runs on hardware. So if the hardware is not strong enough, doesn't have enough of the CPU, the RAM, and the core processing powers to process the request, then it beats the purpose. So your application would basically not work properly. So a server solves the problem of scalability. When multiple people are trying to access your application, it can handle multiple user requests. And the last thing that a server solves, the last problem in tech, is the problem of reliability. So your application has to always be up and running. And if in case anything happens, and reliability is being set up by making sure we have a very robust disaster recovery system set up and backups, such that if the server fails, another servers up that can actually handle user requests. So 5 type of common servers that are being used a lot. I would like to start with a web server. So a web server, just like remember the video where we talked about Google and understood request flows to Google. So when you are making a request to a web server, like like let's say you're trying to access a Google page, so Google has that page index on a web server, and it just sends you back. So you make the request to Google, right? You make the request here, right? You the client, sorry, you make the request, and then to the web server, and then Google sends you back the Google sends you back a web page, right? Which you see on your browser. Same thing with a mail server. Another type of web server that's available is mail servers. So with mail servers, let's say you are using a mail provider such as Google Mail or Outlook or Yahoo Mail. What happens is every time you send an email, your email doesn't just shoot directly to the recipient of the email. That's not how it works. So what happens is your email first goes to the mail server. The mail server sees your email, processes it, tries to understand who you're trying to send an email to, and then it forwards now that email to the recipient's email. So let's say I have Gmail, right? And I'm trying to send um, an email to someone who has Outlook, right? So my email would be Yannick, or let's say techyannick@gmail.com, right? So my email would first go to Google's Gmail server, right? And when it goes there, it sees I'm trying to send an email to someone who uses the Outlook email. So from the Google server, my request gets forwarded over the internet to it looks up Outlook server and it forwards it to Outlook server. Now, from Microsoft's Outlook server, this request says that this email is intended for XYZ user and it forwards that email now to the recipient. Now, all of this happens in seconds, milliseconds, or whatever. So a mail server is also another type of server. It solves the problem of like mail. And we also have file servers. So let's say you work in corporate and you are in an office. A file server is basically used to store files that would be shared between multiple users if you work in corporate, and they are Google files that have to be shared on Google Drives, right? All of those files are stored on a file server, and they can be accessed by multiple users. I don't want to talk about these ones here because this could get complicated if you are just new to this. Like proxy servers are basically complicated. They are just the same as web servers. The only difference is the mask. Like, yeah, this is when we are setting up critical services and we don't want our server's IP address exposed, so we could put a proxy server in front, but that's advanced. FTP servers is like basically for files. Um, very important service too is a database server. So a database server is like this information, this video you are watching is is in a database server because this is data, right? I created this video and I stored this video on YouTube, and YouTube is an application. So YouTube would have a web server. Now this video would be stored in YouTube's database server, which is why you could be playing this video, you could hit pause, you could leave, you could come back, you hit play, you hit continue. It says because the video is being stored in a database. So when you are trying to access this video, your request goes to YouTube, you probably authenticate into YouTube, and then because you are trying to see this video, it routes your request in the back end between multiple servers and sends you to this video. So the last type of server, a little bit about database servers. Let's say you are uploading. Every time you log in into any website, your login goes to the to the database to verify that, okay, who is this logging in and is this login actually valid? Every time you also upload pictures, just like I said, I uploaded this video to YouTube. Well, I haven't uploaded it right now, but as soon as I upload it, it goes to YouTube's database. Same thing. If I put a comment, if I modify the video, it goes to the database, because this is data that I am sending to YouTube, and that is a database. And there is also, within databases, there's multiple types of databases, such as MySQL database, MongoDB database, and we would have a dedicated video. I think the next video I should be making would be on databases. And guys, the reason why I'm making these videos is just so that when we start talking about the advanced and complex cloud and DevOps technologies, I don't want to spend a lot of time explaining to you what a database is, or I don't know if you are here on this channel for this mission or you're just trying to understand this, but if your goal is once we get to the complex videos, we will not spend time on this. That is why I'm spending a lot of time and taking my time to explain these concepts right now before we get to the advanced concepts. So this is all about databases. And also, to actually wrap up this video, let me explain to you how modern applications work, right? Or modern software. So modern softwares have multiple databases in the back end. For example, let's say I was trying to set up an e-commerce application, right? Or let's say I was building my own personal e-commerce online store for people to buy. I would need a web server, right? I would need a web server because I would need a front end or an interface, like a web page, where when you come to that web page, you see, oh, welcome to Tech for Yannick. He is selling a server, he's selling mouse, he's selling keyboards, right? That interface, I would put that web page, it would be a web page. It could be an HTML web page, most likely. So that web page, right? I will use a web server for that. Now, I would need a database as well, right? And what would I use the database server for? I would use the database for my product infos. Like every time, say I want to change the price of a keyboard or the price of a mouse, I would go there and make the modifications, right, of the files. I will make the modifications of what I'm trying to change in my database. My database would contain orders. It will contain my products. It will contain basically all the data for my applications. Now, let's say there's a lot of images and files for the different, and I change them a lot. I will need a file server for the images. Let's say I want to change the images on my website for the products that I'm selling. I would have to do that in a file server. Now, I would also need an application server, right? Because my website would be a web application. Now, within the application server, there would be, this is where if I know how to develop and write code, I would write the code for the logic. But if I don't know and I hire developers to do it, in the app server, there would be the logic of how the website works and how all of my back-end servers would interconnect to give me a specific result on my website. Like a client might come to my website. He's on the web page. He's looking at products. He's adding products to cart. He's making payments. He's saving things. So multiple servers are interconnected and working in the back end to give the client on his phone or computer an end result. You right here at the client, you right here at the client. All of these are the same thing, same concepts. Your request goes to the back end, your request goes to the back end, request goes to the back end, and then you get back a result or an output in the front end. So guys, this is all about servers. I'm trying to not make this video any complicated, and see you in the next video where we will talk about databases.